So this happened when I was in secondary school, and I have to give a shout. I still remember my teacher's name. Her name is Madam Rebecca. Okay. And she changed my life forever.
Wow! I said this before. I'm gonna say it again. It's 多错多错，少说少错，没说没错。Which actually, wait.
Like when you see my young picture and now, it really look very different.
Before we start this episode, I want to know why up to now no snack company or food company give us any food to eat.
I think cause
I see we got viewership. Why nobody?
I think cause they niao.
They know. So on this episode, we are talking about unsolicited and worst advice. And my advice to all the food companies out there is put some of your food here.
What a bad advice. I thought we're doing worse. That's a good advice.
That's a good advice. Yeah. So please consider working with us. You can email us right here.
And I would like to say adding on to your advice. My advice is because this video will probably take about 30 minutes. You snack on the table for 30 minutes. You go out there, you pay 30 minutes of a video. How much you need to pay?
I think quite worth.
Quite worth. And then
from what I understand, I think we are also cheaper than a lot of TikTokers.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I'm very sure.
Yeah. He's the food king, right? I can be the snack king.
Ooh, you can be a snack king.
You're always snacking.
Yeah. You are always snacking. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to work with us, you can email us here. Today we are going to do unsolicited and worst advice that you ever received.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of our audience have sent in their stories. Surprisingly, when I was pitched this idea, I was like, I have this style of story, but surprisingly a lot. Okay. So let me start with the first story by Ant. A-N-T. When I was young, my grandma used to always tell me, men like women who have a waist of a bee. So don't gain any more weight or you'll be like cockroach. Talking about the body shape. Some context, I'm considered tall, close to 170 cm and under 50 kg when she used to tell me this consistently.
Actually, I got hear this kind of things before.
Body shaming.
Yeah, because I think
you will be quite used to it.
No, but not towards the body. Okay. It's like older generation. They like to say this kind of thing. I also had this bad habit. I think my aunt always tell me. So when I hold a cup, I'll hold like that.
I also hold like that.
Then you know the more older generation, they say, hey, why you like that? You like a bit kunyang.
Oh.
You know, like you kunyang ma, you want pinky out like that drink ma. Usually, like they want like men hold the cup like that. But I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then ever since that I changed the habit lah.
Really? I didn't care. I really didn't care. I feel like British people drink tea ma, atas ma.
But I think it's just cause the older generation, they have this mindset of very traditional, like how you act, how you look like.
Right.
It affects a lot of things. That kind of. But in this generation, no, not anymore lah. If I drink like that, people probably won't care.
Right.
But what's the bad advice? I don't get it.
I guess the grandma shouldn't have body shame her lah.
The bad advice is I think the amma want her to slim down.
Right, but she's already so skinny.
Yeah, and the reason for slimming down is cause men want waist like that.
I don't want a waist that look like a bee.
But the thing is, right, based on her height and weight, right, her BMI is actually underweight. She's already underweight, but the grandmother is still asking her to lose weight.
Yes.
Like how much more weight you want to lose here?
What is a bee-shaped body?
Got say B-shaped body man?
Yeah. Waist of a bee. How does a waist of a bee?
B is like
B like that,
No, bee is just round.
No, it's like
No.
that. Then got waist, then the butt.
The butt very big lah.
I thought that's wasps.
Walao, it's same lah.
Maybe the grandmother think was her B also the same lah. Yeah. And I think when she compared to cockroach, it's like your body like that lah. Like just one shape like that.
You have the body of a bee lah. You must have a body of a bee.
Don't have.
We very sure everybody lah.
Sure lah. Yeah, but I don't know lah. I guess last time people were very harsh on beauty standards.
Correct.
Last time people whenever I hear like my mother say, oh this auntie, this uncle used to be very good looking at young, right? When I see their picture, I was like, what the fuck is with your hair? Or something like that.
Like your hair when you were young.
Yeah. I mean beauty standards change with time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But last time I encountered this. Last time I used to be fat.
Oh,
Hey, yeah. Actually, Nigel last time fat one.
Like,
Fatter
really
you?
fat.
Like same lah.
Same lah.
Like when you see my young picture and now, it really look very different.
Like I look at a kid and I say you won't be in commando that time.
Yeah.
Oh, that one is confirm PSY one.
yeah. That kind.
Okay.
Yeah, but then it's like, because I hear this kind of thing, because last time also they say don't eat so much or this, you know, like.
Did it work though?
Yeah, it did work. Like,
It did work,
It did work. It's like every day my secondary school always call me fat fuck. Until I keep going gym.
So it did work for you?
It did work.
Why didn't it work for you?
Then the pinky ma. I listen different things.
Oh, you listen to that?
Yeah,
But why you don't care?
People like, they tell me the pinky, I listen to the pinky.
Right.
But
Okay.
Now different ma.
Yeah.
Last time maybe still can, now very different already.
I guess lah, but I feel like I don't think she took any advice from her. I think you all shouldn't let other people dictate how you should look like. But I also think it comes from a good place where if you are slightly overweight, it's not a healthy thing ma. So people might say that to motivate you to exercise like him.
Yeah,
it didn't work on him, but it's okay. I mean,
Works for certain people.
yeah, he's still very strong. When we go gym, he like on day one, right, he's lifting heavier weights than me. But since he's healthy, then nothing to say lah.
Yeah, with that being said, health screening is very important. I recently found the importance of health screening. Every year, must go check out. Yeah, and if you're like want to sponsor,
Yeah. Maybe like circle DNA.
HPB.
Okay.
HDB also can.
Anything also okay. Next story is from I Don't Get from 21 years old. She's
From 21 years old.
She's 21 years old. I think it's a she, I don't know. Hi guys, is it me or do you guys face this with your family also? Whenever I fall sick, right, my mom will say things like, you fall sick because you use your phone too much, or on the aircon less so you won't fall sick so easily. I don't get where all this advice come from. How is it relevant to me falling sick? Feels like she's just taking a chance to nag at me for my bad habits. Haha, but can give me some substantial advice if y'all have, because I really fall sick too often. Sian.
That's when the health checkup come in.
That's what I
Yeah, maybe something inside wrong already.
But I think it's an Asian parents thing.
It's confirmed.
Yeah. Asian parents are anything that happens to you, my hand pain, my leg pain, I sick, I what, is drink more water. Drink more water. Water is like the cure to everything.
If you fall sick often, Asian parents is go out too much. And if you stay at home too often, is you must go out more.
Yeah, correct.
Or playing too many computer games.
Yeah, correct. And if you put your phone beside you when you sleep, the waveform will give you cancer.
The radiation. Yeah. But then put the food in the microwave? Never mind. Yeah, so very odd advice.
My mom always think that when I cough,
It's use too much phone.
I'm gonna die.
Oh, you got
Like,
that?
let's say I
That's quite actually.
the whole day I find out I'm using computer. 去看医生啦
Really just scream like that? Wow, you inside the room, she
Yeah, I
outside
inside the room. Then like, go, you keep coughing. Then like, what the? Because like, sometimes you like, the saliva
Clearing
stuck,
throat,
or like saliva stuck there. Then she like, you keep coughing. I should drink water, don't drink. I just got water. You know?
I don't know their logic though. I feel like sometimes they just say things for the sake of saying it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I also okay lah. This one as I grow up, I start to understand. Sometimes I see like my mother call me right, like very urgently 3-4 times. Then when I pick up, she tell me the most unimportant thing in the world. like really like. Nothing much, right? It's not even 你吃饱了没有 or that. It's really more like, 我跟你讲我看这个新闻有这个 scam like this kind of thing, right? And then it's like, as I grow up, I start to realize is actually they just want to talk to you.
I also think so. They just want to have a conversation with you. Right.
Yeah. So sometimes you shouldn't complain because when your parents pass away, you want to hear all this also cannot hear it.
But her question is, what advice do we have for her because she falls sick often?
I don't know. I always think falling sick actually is a lot to do with your environment. Like if your room is very untidy, not well ventilated, you eat inside your room, all that. Basically whatever Ben do in his room, you were about to fall sick, but he never fall sick. Very strange.
What you put in my room? Like, how you know? You come my room. Okay.
When I had nobody, I put a CCTV camera.
That's what I hear like.
Yeah. So I guess is look into your environment, and I don't know, did it help you? After your renovation, I told you to get an air purifier. Did it really help you?
I never felt the difference.
You never have?
But I would say maybe it's your immune system. Some people immune system just weaker than the others.
But your parents say all this is just because they 关心你.
Yeah. So I don't consider this as worst advice or bad advice but
It's just useless advice.
it's useless useless 讲了干脆不要讲 but yeah. We can move on to the next one, which is from loud and proud female. I remember when I was in secondary school, I wasn't well liked because I have a loud personality, and an older secondary schoolmate I was in an ECA with advised me with well intentions that I should completely change myself, like become meek, quiet and agreeable. I tried that route, but safe to say it made me feel suppressed and unhappy. Happy to report that I didn't follow her advice at the end and kept to my true personality and character. Although I made certain mistakes along the way, my personality effectively shunned the people that was not supposed to be in my life, and I'm happily married to a guy that loves me for who I am with great friends to boot. Stay true to yourself, guys.
That wasn't bad advice. That's like
No, the person gave a bad advice.
but she didn't.
But
choose
she
to
gave a
follow.
good advice.
Right.
She didn't follow the bad advice.
Do you have friends like tell you who you shouldn't be?
Oh, of course.
Oh, really?
Of course. There are people that, but before that, I'm very curious. What is ECA?
Yeah, same.
Oh,
That was the
correct.
biggest-
Sorry. My time one. Now you all call it CCA.
Oh.
That's what we call.
ECA is extracurriculum activities.
Yes, correct. We are.
CCA
that's
is
my-
co-curricular.
And my time in my primary school is called ECA.
Well, means this person is
37 and above.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. It seems like people will tell you to change lah. This is you got very loud and annoying personality.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying. I think I got shared this before. As someone that's loud and I wouldn't say
Oh,
annoying.
you're self-aware.
I'm loud, I'm loud.
right.
Before I even like appear on camera and stuff, people know me as a loud and
Annoying.
extroverted
And fat.
lah.
like people know my personality is like that. But before all this, right, people don't know. So people might think like I'm attention seeking. Then they'll be like, wow, damn annoying this guy. Then they won't like me, which I've heard a lot of in every phase of my life. Sure have one. Lucky I am.
So you are no stranger to people not liking you.
I know.
Oh,
But I lucky I cute.
You also shameless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucky I cute.
Okay, lucky.
Majority like. Majority like. At least I funny, you know.
Yeah,
But
okay.
like there's this like 10 to 20%. I've heard stories like they just say like, oh, I'm annoying, that kind of thing. Sometimes right, it's just people.
Don't know you.
Yeah, they misunderstand.
They hate what they don't know.
Yeah, they
They
misunderstand.
don't
They
Judge
misunderstand.
lah,
Yeah,
they
they judge
judge
too quickly.
yeah.
I'm not saying like I'm very well like, you know,
Right,
but people do tend to misjudge.
Yeah,
That kind of thing. This is based on my own personal experience lah. I heard lah. But because I also hear people say I cute man, that's why I say lor. A lot of time.
Okay.
But actually, the friend that told her the bad advice, right? Like quite a true friend, I would say. Because the friend
Also 为了她好。
yeah 为了她好 like tell her from a good place, I guess. Like cause she say like, you see the intentions with well intentions.
Yeah.
She's just trying to say like, hey, maybe if you try this way.
Actually, right, I kind of can relate because there are people that tell me that before, and it's because right they hear from other people.
Yeah.
So like for example,
so 为了你好啦。
yeah. So like for example, right, Nigel is very ugly. Actually, that's the truth lah.
No, not the truth, but okay.
Then you
He
tell
more
me,
cute.
Then you know what he do? He say you more cute. Then he. So like, let's say you tell me like, hey, Nigel a bit ugly.
Then you will go tell him.
I will say like,
you
hey,
should
bro,
do something about
you
it.
do something about it.
Change your
Like a lot of people say, that kind of thing.
yeah.
That it could come from that kind of perspective lah.
On that topic, right, my girlfriend actually gave me a very good advice. Okay, because I am quite a jaded and critical person, and she tell me right that whatever the person cannot change, that means naturally happen one, right? Don't go say anything.
Like what?
Because the person cannot change.
Like what?
For example, you're short, right? There's nothing you can do about it. Then don't go say anything about it. But then on the same thing, let's say your hair messy, I can say because you can do something about it.
Fat can say.
Can because you can do something about it.
can.
Unless you're medically.
Can say can really.
Oh, okay. Can. Yeah, so I thought that advice was actually good. I live by the advice now and I felt better lah.
But we shouldn't put that in.
But yeah.
Because that was actually good advice. It's like all about bad advice.
We have to give bad advice.
Right.
You should have slapped the person when
Yeah,
she said.
actually when the person short, just say short.
Wait. We are reading bad advice, not we are giving them. Can you get your shit?
We can give
Yeah, we should give good advice. As always, well-intentioned advice.
like our previous 10 episodes.
Yeah, we've been doing good advice.
Excellent, I would say.
Excellent. I tell you,
Excellent.
outstanding advice.
In fact, we like after a few more episodes, we can get the license to be therapists.
This question by Bell27. Ex-in-law says, don't be stupid lah. Go sign the BTO confirmation for the unit next time, 10 years later. Sell already, can get free money from government, cost 50-50. By then, can divorce law, free money, also don't want. Don't be stupid. Ex-husband says, very hard to get such good unit in prime location. Don't divorce first. We go sign BTO paper first, sign already, I go out find other woman since you want to divorce me. Once I found new girl, I just change your name to her name for BTO law, then you will be free already, no burden. Wow, no wonder same family.
So basically, right,
They're just using her
the husband and the family will win lah. The girl don't win anything lah.
don't get anything
She
lah.
will just be a divorcee with nothing.
Why are you married to this guy?
Yes, I don't think any house or any financial incentive is worth any marriage and selling your time away. How do you feel people like this are taking away your BTO chances?
Say lah, angry
Why? Burn his house down!
Bro, what? 打他妈妈，杀他全家。But I think from a neutral point of view, I would say that they are not very wrong into doing it. Because it's like let's say we are happily married, then we sign a BTO. We want to get married, we want a BTO one. We never take, we purposely want to take one. Then like throughout that, you know, you need a few years or a bit of time to get the keys and whatnot, right? Maybe like someone cheat or what, you know, those unforgivable sins. Then they want to break up. But the BTO is still there, The BTO is a money making machine. Prime location. Just because of this mistake, they want to break up, they want to divorce, then you give up this for no reason. You give up a mind goal for no reason. That's why the family feel will be like, wow, a bit wasted.
I get what you're saying, but in this case, right, it's not a win-win situation.
Also for the ex-in-law got say split 50-50, what?
Okay, yes, correct. But the ex-husband is not.
Yeah, the ex-husband a bit more stupid lah. Say like, hey, you stay with me for a while, I take all the money, then you can go.
Yeah, but honestly, because it's prime location, right, means it's going to lock down for 10 years. These 10 years, no matter how much money you have, right, you will never get back. And honestly speaking, 10 years is really a lot. For a guy, we have this saying called 男人40一条龙。
什么？
男人40一条龙。That means our
男人有44 dragon。
我们有一条龙，他有40个。
哇 seriously, why your Chinese so bad? 男人40一条龙 is saying like when we hit 40 years old as men, our life just started.
Like prime,
like you become a dragon lah.
It's our prime.
Like 男人40一条龙，女人没有41条虫。
It sounds like logical, but it's not. For a female at 40 years old, I will honestly think it's a lot harder on them lah.
Yeah. It is lah, but I think like from the ex-in-law's point of view was like
the ex-in-law 没有错. I think still
okay.
Still acceptable. But the husband is wow, only you can win, nobody else can win.
Okay, but let's say now I put myself in the ex-husband's shoe, or the ex-husband. I would think that you got nothing to lose. Like for example, like you just be free. You know, you just go find another guy. Once I got a new girl, I just change the name lah.
Yeah, but then she don't get 50-50 of the proceeds, what?
Okay, it's more
it's
like
a gentleman's agreement,
asking for a favor.
You at this situation, what gentleman agreement? I tell you, divorce 没有 gentleman agreement. A lot of promises were made, but nothing was kept.
Okay, but I just want to give you.
I agree.
讲 divorce 讲 divorce. Then ex-husband want to divorce, what, find girl first? Fuck him, don't care. Put yourself first. Walao this guy.
Somehow you're 27 years old. By the time this NOP done, given that let's say you, in the best scenario, you can sell at the 10 years mark, you are 37 years old already.
No point lah.
No point, man. I don't think it's worth it.
Name drop him.
Name drop him. Tell us his address, send us his picture.
Maybe it's Ryan Tan from
Maybe we take your BTO, give it to you.
Yeah, sure. Prime location.
Prime location.
50-50.
You just say like everything, right? Don't do it, right? But if me, I do.
Next question. By help with 4 P's. Help lah, I OT sometimes, and when I go home late, my mom will nag at me. Says I always reach home later and later. She will also ask if I get OT pay or if company buy us dinner. I always have dinner at home. Then she will say stuff like the company should treat us better, at least pay OT, or give us food. If not, I always come back, eat, then dinner becomes supper. But what to do, lor? Not like I have any say. Things just work like that in the company. How? So the advice is...
I guess maybe the mom is a housewife. Then she get the idea of the working life from watching television. I tell you, whenever I watch movies, series, dramas, or K-drama or American shows or whatever shit, their depiction of working life is damn off from real life. You as you grow up, you all don't feel so, man.
How so?
Okay, number one, they always make the boss look evil, greedy, tico, and a lot of things. You agree, right?
Yeah. You're talking about the drama, right?
Yeah,
drama.
They always make the.
I agree with the drama.
But I don't think in real life is like that. More often or not, I see a lot of bosses suffering.
Okay.
Number two, they always show like
No, you know what they never show?
What?
They didn't show the real life like money making situations.
Right.
They always show like boss is forever rich one. You know like forever boss winning money one. Boss always 没有输钱的，有钱给员工 this kind.
Yeah. Number two, people always think just because there's an office, there's a company, means it's always forever profitable.
Yes.
I don't understand why they always portray like that. Then number three, they always portray bosses throw paper at your face throw things at your face I know there is such cases like that.
Actually, I got experience before.
Yeah, but
my boss beat me one. Literally like 5 minutes ago.
What I just try to say, like the way they portray working life in TVs and dramas are very unrealistic. It's very unlike of the
Real life lah.
Real life lah.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that like regarding pay, OT pay, all that kind of thing, it's something to discuss with your boss. As an employee, right, we also like, let's say I'm not happy with my pay. I got tell Ryan before. Now I'm doing more. I want a bit more. Then it's open to discussion.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, if you're unhappy, right, you cannot say that there's nothing you can do. There's a lot of things you can do. Number one, leave the company. If you're not happy, you leave lah.
Find a better opportunity.
If that you cannot say all company out there don't pay OT. There are companies that pay OT. If that's what you're looking for, then you leave. Secondly, if you think that your pay not enough, discuss with your boss. Then if not good, leave lah. There's so many things you can do. Number three, you can slap your boss.
Okay.
As hard as you can.
As hard as you can, which I always wanted to try.
Okay.
But like not good advice because we're giving worse advice. Not good advice. Just putting it out there. So it may not be like the best company, but you should ask yourself this question: is it somewhere you want to stay, or that kind of thing? But if you tell me if you want to leave, the boss don't let you, right? Then that way you bo pian already. Then but there's also something wrong with him.
But the thing is, this person is not even complaining about the company. He's complaining about the mom. I tell things just work like that. But work is work, I feel work is work.
I think like at the end of the day, right? I don't know about you lah. You always never specify. I don't know whether you're happy in this company or not.
Right.
If you're happy, you don't mind the no OT, then okay, fine. Then your mother say 1 year in, 1 year out.
You explain to her lor.
Yeah, just say like ma OT 不用紧哇，他给我10,000的，我需要 OT 咩？10,000哇，你不要啊，我 OK 啦，10,000，然后like kind of thing。然后我的老板没有给我 dinner 吧，他有给我 lunch，OK 吧？他偶尔请我吃 OK 吧 ？dinner 不是要 provide 的吧
？Missing a lot of context 啦。
or like 我 OT 吧，他给我 claim cap 回家嘞，这种东西我也是有 benefit 的。可能我的 leave 21天呢，25天呢，30天呢。
哦，34天 sounds good。
30天 sounds good 啦。
So you want all these benefits 啦？later we look into your contract
1万块。
那种 like bonus 12 months。
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I guess your mom, like I say lah, maybe she just miss you. She's just trying to find something to tell you she miss you, but not necessarily from a bad place. Just think lor.
Next question is by deepest secret. Wow, this story also very very long.
42 years old.
42 years old.
Wow.
And the first sentence really catch me.
Okay.
I was married to a psychopath.
Wow.
And he presented a picture of being the perfect husband to the world on socials and in person. Everyone that we knew always came up to me and said, you should treat your husband better. I always smiled and said nothing. What no one knew, because I'm very aged in my values, is that I never said anything negative about him. When we finally split, I found out that he was actually gossiping behind my back and telling people how horrible a wife I was in terms of me always being difficult and complaining. He quit his job the day after we got married and tried different careers and businesses and never earned more than 1K a month because he was lazy. However, the market story was that he was doing very well, giving all his money to me, and what was more scary was that he was borrowing money on behalf from the people around us and vice versa. By the time we split, he took nearly $1 million from me and I was broke and could not recover and lost my business. Found out years later, he was actively sleeping around with another man.
Wait. The husband sleeping with other man.
I think I read that correctly.
Say again?
Found out years later, he was actively sleeping around with other men and contracted HIV.
Holy shit!
The only lucky thing is I did not get it.
Okay.
Our mutual friends that were scammed by him still think he is a saint till this day. So, before anyone says to another person or judge a relationship, always remember that just because someone keeps silent does not mean they do not have a story behind them. They are just respecting the privacy of their spouse.
I super agree.
I super agree.
super relate, but I will not say more. Okay.
I agree because I've learned also that as I grow older, I've learned not to talk bad or gossip about my partner. Because once you do that, it either means...
It opens up a whole door of mess and chaos.
Yeah, and it just means that you don't like your partner. It just means that you have a lot to complain and you don't even want to say to her, which means that you may not love her as much.
There's something wrong already.
I have things that I complain about my girlfriend. But it's like very normal. Like the day she say I fat. That kind of thing.
This one it should be every day, right?
Lucky
it's
not
not.
every day. Like, you know, like she's just being like, a little bitch. Like I complain a bit, but it was not like I need a hard talk with her.
It's like a playful thing.
Like wow, you know my girlfriend, girl like that one. The day she like that, she like that.
Girl got problem.
Yeah. Girl
it's like not a serious.
All girl got problem. All girl got problem. Did I say that too many times?
I would not comment on that.
Yeah, so I learned about that because my old girlfriend also got say things like when we fight, right, she never really talk to her friends about it. And I felt that was a respect, a different kind of respect. Because these kind of things, right, it's meant to be kept within ourselves.
Correct.
It's our own problem, it's our own relationship.
Correct.
Don't tell other people for what?
Correct.
You tell other people, then other people... I hate it when like people give advice and then they follow. You're like, hey,
yes.
your boyfriend like that, then you like to him.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot tell for no reason. You know?
Thankfully, my girlfriend also like that. In fact, it's one of the first few things she said when we are together. That whatever that happened to us, right, we were talking out among ourselves. We don't have to go seek advice or talk to other people. So I think that was very good advice because up to today, right, like I don't talk shit about her. She don't talk shit about me. Her friends all like me. My friends all like her. So I think that's a very healthy relationship.
It's very bad when you keep talking this kind of thing, right? Then you leave a bad impression on her, like among your friends.
Correct.
And that's not very good. So it's like you go gathering, the interaction is not genuine.
The dynamics very awkward.
They're very awkward. I think it's very bad.
And all this type of arguments and relationship problem, right, there's a lot of nuances that you may miss. You may give advice from a good place to your friend, but actually you don't know the full picture. Because most of the time, your friend telling you a story, they will paint themselves as the victim. They won't say that, actually I also slapped his face 7 times before he slapped me 1 time. You get it? You only hear the story that he slapped her 1 time, but you never hear that she slapped his face 7 times at first. There's a lot of nuances that is not said, right? Then 最好是 don't take your dirty laundry and air outside. Unfortunately, mine was add to the whole Singapore.
Very smelly.
Yeah. So that is you can learn from me. That is a very, very bad result.
But respect to you. Respect to you because if it's me, if I found out like, wow, I kena gossip, I should air all this out.
Yes, sir.
I'll be like, actually, hey, guys, actually the truth is like that.
No, but people may not want to listen one. I felt that way also. I felt like maybe I should say something. But people that is dedicated to misunderstand you, they will misunderstand you. 你讲什么没有用的。
But at least
you say,
at least you say.
Yeah, at least you say.
At least you say.
没有用的 because 越描越黑。
So you just rather don't say.
I rather don't say. 我真的太累。
But HIV, that one can.
That one, okay, a bit effed up.
The sleep lose to the male one. I mean, he sleep with other male one.
Wow, this one I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, it was so out of the blue.
Someone she's 42, right? Means that they are really married for quite some time.
Probably.
So what the hell happens here?
The bigger question is, right, where's the advice? Who gives you advice?
She give us advice like just because somebody remains silent doesn't mean they don't have a story behind them.
It's really a deeper secret.
Yeah.
She kept it for a while already, Then like she never air out to her friends. So until today, the guy is still a saint to everybody. Until she tell us this but we don't know who is it .
Yeah. But sad lah. Some people just unfortunate . Not eloquent enough like me like not eloquent enough to explain their plight.
You too tall already.
But wow, this is a very unfortunate story and it's also quite sad. That's why I always say marry late, never mind. Don't marry also never mind. But marry wrong, right? Finish.
This one advice is 过来人 one.
我是过来人。
You're asking for it.
我是过来人。
You're asking for it.
过来人。
You're asking for it.
我是过来人。
Okay, next question. This question is by L, 28 male. And he said, I'm a proud male nurse by choice.
Wow.
I'm a nurse because I want to be one. I absolutely hate it when people, commonly elderly, say Ayya, why you never study a bit harder, become doctor?
I think that's the exact and correct tone.
Yeah, that sounds so accurate. So annoying.
I can relate, I don't know why.
I don't know why people always find the urge to this urge, right, to tell people what to do with their life, with their choices.
No, but I think I understand for old people, it's like, you know, their life is almost over already.
They try to live their life
then they see you, they don't want you, they see you young, they don't want you to waste your life away, and they hope that you can live their dreams, but it's not the right way lah.
Their dream is to be a nurse, then let him be lah. 他开心就好，你管这
It's by choice, man.
Yeah, it's by choice. Actually, we have some friends who are nurses as well, and they are like okay with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
So do you make fun of him?
Last time.
Last time we always say about it.
Last time. No, you know why not? He fucking, he a bit stupid. So if he does, right, I'm pretty sure somebody died by his hands before.
So let's say you get into a car accident, you go to the hospital.
I wouldn't want to.
I think right. I'll put a note there. I say sorry, I'm not feeling well. I'll go home first.
Okay, just don't put his name in. Don't put his name in.
But still respect, because I think that when I was young, right, I think I also got that mindset. It's because brought up that way, you know. But as I grow older, I realized that a nurse job is equally hard or even harder than a doctor. Okay, I got a very good example.
Okay.
It's like you're in the army like that. Officer and sergeant. People always say, why you don't want to be officer? Officer earn more money, what? But officer, you need the knowledge.
Yes.
You need the brains. Doctor is the brains, but doctor take very long study. But nurses are the brawls, they are the hands. Did nurse one? Hey, got a doctor, if no nurse, who wipe your buttock? Who clean your shit? Correct not? So it's very important also. And I would say, right, nurses nowadays, the pay also very high leh. I heard lah. The pay not low eh. So what makes it different from nurse and doctor? And why are you comparing a nurse and a doctor? There are two different occupations. Yes, they work in the same hospital, but it's different kind of skill set. It doesn't mean like, hey, nurse is a lower form of doctor. No, they just do different things.
Totally two different.
That's the stigma that people have.
You're just doing a different job role. It's like in our industry, we are doing YouTube, correct? Is videographer the top? No what? Why people that say, hey, why you producer? Why don't you just go be a videographer?
Like be a director or something.
No, I like.
You do YouTube. Why you never create movie? This kind of
Always like that. It's always like that.
But we like doing this. It's a different skill set. This is what we enjoy.
You know, a lot of people always ask me, why do I do movie? Fuck you! I don't want to do lah.
Why you don't be better?
Yeah lah.
Cut it die.
Yeah, sometimes very annoying.
I don't know why I'm so angry.
This episode actually made me quite angry. Because I all unsorted. I never asked for advice. But the whole premise of our show, right, is also we give advice.
I felt like sitting very comfortably, not straight. So right, let the person be. Leave the man alone.
Leave the man alone.
Hey, walao, people very proud and it's by choice.
I mean, he's 28 years old already. He already know what he want already.
Hey bro, I respect you, bro. I respect. Some people 28, they still don't know what they want. Then they say already. I want to be this when I grow up. Hey, you fucking 28 already. You already grew up already.
How are you?
28. I know what I want.
Okay. You know what you want.
We all know what you want.
We all know what you want.
Okay, for our last story. Oh, this one 我们三个可以 relate. Confirm can relate.
Very short story, but I also can relate.
It's a very short story. Okay, so the next story is by Cinderella. Lecture me for not raising kids to continue my bloodline. My surname is Chen. There are 100 millions of Chen.丢.
Hey, fun fact. Do you know that Chen is not the biggest surname in Singapore?
Lee, right?
We still okay.
We second, I think.
We second or third.
In this company, how many times we have already? A lot eh. I don't know. I feel like nowadays, right? This 传宗接代, this prolonging your generation and bloodline, right? Feels unnecessary.
I would half agree. I feel half. I would say.
Why you think it's important?
Because at least you have a bit of legacy.
Why is this legacy so important after you are dead?
I don't know.
For me, right? Okay, my half is because I agree that I want to bring in kids,
right?
To continue bloodline.
Okay.
But bloodline doesn't mean generations to come. So like for example, now I'm in the world.
Okay.
Do I remember my great grandfather?
Yeah, that's why the legacy is lost already.
But I remember my parents. That is the thing that I want to keep memory of.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say it's like straight all the way like like last time the Gandhis, that kind of generation lah. I don't want to prolong.
Apparently we are the descendants
but
of
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But I bring kids because I want memories with my kids,
I think-
with parents, with grandparents, that kind of thing. So in that small circle of generation, yes,
Right.
I want to protect that.
Right.
You know, like I want to continue that lah. Then my kids, I grow my kids. Then my kids have his own family.
Right.
Yes, I want that. If you tell me like to remember my great grandfather, I never even see my grandfather before. That one is no lah. That doesn't apply to me. But it applies to that small circle.
But do you think her logic is correct? Like everybody that sings Chen, right, we were once a family. Was it really like that?
I think so, sir.
Really? That means we were really once a family and then just brush out. But we became the same.
I would believe so.
Then who was the first Tan?
Yeah.
Who's the first Tan?
Adam Tan.
My perspective of history, right, is a bit warped. I believe that history was written to exaggerate.
That means it's not an accurate depiction of what actually happened.
Correct. Like for example, I don't know if we'll get cancelled or not. Like for example, the story about, let's say, Jesus rise from the dead. I feel like it could be a mistake of, let's say, it's just a normal human that never die.
Right.
Then people mistake, because now in this modern world, there are people that like misdiagnose dead, but actually not dead. That's suddenly they like, you're not dead actually.
Right.
It could happen at that point in time. At that point in time,
Then it looks magical.
it looks magical because there was no medical technology or that kind of thing, and people are not as knowledgeable. So people think of it as miracle. I don't know the whole story of like how Jesus rose from the dead. I don't know. Some guy with a lot of fantasy, you know, start writing like, can turn
They
white to
exaggerate
Jesus.
lah.
It could be right. That person right is a magician. Like he like. Then the person, oh wow, there's Jesus exists. Like, I'm not saying like Jesus wrong. I'm just saying like history. It could be like, for example, like other historical events that happen.
Due to the lack of scientific knowledge and medical knowledge, some accounts may look quite magical or even demonic lah.
If you all don't use the Jesus part, I give you an example. Like for example,
Sun Wukong.
no lah, so called it's a myth, different.
Right.
Why is it that a lot of things in the past, right? Oh, it's very magical, no? Got this creature,
It's like dragons.
but why modern world don't have? I feel like it's because people misinterpret, and then they start passing it down the stories. They start to become real. That's how I feel history is.
How the story was warped.
Yeah, I would like to bring that mindset to today's world.
Okay.
Stories are also exaggerated. In our everyday life, I can say one thing, but the actual thing doesn't even like
Not
not
that
even
happening
close.
lah.
Not even close. Imagine it's like, wow, a few thousand years ago the stories spread how long already? It could be very warped lah. That's my view on history.
Correct. Because I think got this. I don't know you all heard of Romance of Three Kingdoms. 诸葛亮关羽 all that. They are,
That's real, right?
that is actually real, but a lot of the story that they say their perspective, right, make it look like very unreal and magical. Like they say 诸葛亮 can control weather, but it's not. It's just like he felt like the humidity is going to rain. Then he use it to his advantage. But then they all say he can control weather, make the storm. What the fuck? Then even when we played the game, he also got magic
Dynasty
power.
Warriors.
I was like, wait, why he got magic power? I don't understand. So I think take it with your pinch of salt. I think history is there to teach us a lesson. But how did we warp the whole story from this to that?
My point exactly. See, things can walk one.
We were just talking about whether all the Tan family was all
from
family.
one guy.
Then suddenly we become like Romance of Three Kingdoms. I don't know.
Sometimes you need lesser tans.
Okay.
Like out of this table, only 2 tans should exist.
Yeah, like me for sure. And you also. Yeah. Correct.
3 is too much.
3 is too much. 3 is too much. Okay. With that said, what is our grand takeaway from this episode?
Wow.
Maybe each of us can share the worst and best advice you have ever received.
We start with the worst first.
Start with the worst lah.
We start with the worst advice first.
Maybe I start mine very short, 3 words only.
Okay.
When all the things is happening to me, right, I was very sad. The advice that I received was, don't be sad. Great advice. I never thought of it, you know.
Oh my god,
Never fucking thought of it.
that was your best advice.
That was my fucking worst advice.
Don't be sad. Hey, that's actually quite true. Like,
sad.
imagine I'm sad.
Yeah, that's it. Don't be sad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Never thought of it.
Oh, suddenly happy already.
Yeah, I'm smiling already.
Yeah, remember.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What about you?
My even shorter. Not even 3 words.
Not even 3 words.
4 letters only.
What?
YOLO. YOLO is the worst
Actually,
shit ever.
YOLO depends how you apply.
No, I don't like. You know why?
Why?
If I YOLO my life, I probably would be here today.
Die.
I probably died. Confirm. Because when I was in poly, poly very happening.
Yeah.
If I listen to every YOLOs, I probably lose one leg, one arm.
And probably in jail or
Probably,
something.
yeah, probably in jail or
Okay, so that was your worst advice.
I would say like YOLO. YOLO but.
What's BT?
YOLO-BT.
What's BT?
You only live once, but think.
Okay.
YOLO but.
Okay. How about you, sir? Your worst advice?
I don't know, maybe some people will take this as good advice or some people may take it as bad advice. Okay, but it was very bad advice to me. Okay. The bad advice is towards gamblers. You are always one bet away before you make it big.
Oh, I see why it could be bad or good. I see why.
Right?
But in the gambling context, it is, I won't encourage it.
I would say more bad than good.
Okay.
10% right, really true. 90% not true.
Yeah.
You have to take your odds with that.
The good stories about that is really the 1% that really made it. But the 99% is...
because last time we have a bit of a gambling problem.
Yes. I would like to say that we do it legally. I do it with edgy pools one. I do it with edgy pools. And then I had the same mindset. Because my friend last time, he can be kisiang. We play soccer. He say, hey bro, one time good one 1,000. 赌咯，赌赢了。
Oh, this one was the one that you cried at.
I cried in that one.
You know, army man bought what? Bet football.
Then after I lost the 1K, he say, if you bet 1K, you win, you can get back. What?
Yeah, yes.
You keep betting 1K, you lose 1K, you lose 2K, right?
The nightingale
you bet 2K lah.
strategy, yes.
Yeah, and then you cry.
Just don't. That's bad advice.
That's not bad lah.
But lucky, like for me, I took a few bets to get it back. So it's not one bet. In the end, I earned back the 2K.
So you break even lah?
I break even. Then from that on, I never touch. I never touch SG pool ever again, unless every year the few million Toto, I play for fun.
Play for fun. No more football already.
Yeah, no more football. I've ever seen never touch it.
Okay, how about let's end this episode with a positive note. The best advice we have ever received, and you apply it to your daily life or decisions.
My advice is the one advice that I still believe
changed your life.
that changed my life was you really have to try everything. Like that's as simple as it sounds, just go and try everything. Because if you never try, you will never know.
Belum try, belum tahu. Sekali try, hari-hari mau.
So like our whole life, right, is about telling stories, about experiences. Right. But if you don't try and you don't know, you got no stories to tell, you got no experience.
So if I put some cocaine right here, you will try?
Okay, that's illegal.
That is YOLO.
Yeah, that's YOLO. That's not try.
So try everything within the legal means.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, if I didn't try, right, I wouldn't have overcome my fear of heights or overcome my fear of speed, roller coasters, all this.
I do agree with you lah. In terms of life and business and things like that, I am very open to take risks and try everything lah. My advice, I feel like is only related to people of my industry or me. But I think yesterday after I talked to John, I gave him this advice. Right? He said actually it's good advice to apply to everybody. Okay. I said this before, I'm going to say it again. It's 多说多错,少说少错,没说没错. Which actually, wait, what the fuck? You never hear before? I got to say before. It is basically telling you to listen more, talk less.
You can say it.
多说多错,少说少错,没说没错.
千万不要错过.
Very original. This one I never hear anyone say. This one I really figure out.
You use
you know why? You know why not? This happened during the saga time. I realized right, the more I try to explain right, the more mothership will write and then walk my whole story and then the comments will come up. Then I go reply the comments, more things will come up and come up. Then after that, Sherilyn just tell me, they just shut the fuck up. So I was like, okay, I shut up. Okay. When I quiet right, everything died down very quickly. Then I was like, then I start to come out.
Because they want your reaction.
This catchphrase very catchy.
Yeah, 多说多错,少说少错,没说没错.
So soon,
Yeah, so I start to listen more and talk less. 你要讲什么你 just 讲咯，我 just 听咯，听就好咯。So I can't go.
You're right.
Can the music also be changed for me? I don't
that
know.
That one is changed to like those comedy music.
Change to upbeat music. Okay.
多说多错,少说少错,没说没错.
掌声鼓励一下。1900
I don't know if I shared this online before, but my life changed when I was in secondary school.
Okay. When you got really fat.
Actually, that time I quite skinny.
Okay. Okay.
It wasn't about my body.
Okay.
It was more of
your face.
I will punch you. It's supposed to be motivational.
Okay, sorry.
The music start now.
Sorry, I forgot the
Okay,
music.
yeah,
Okay, music start now.
Okay. So this happened when I was in secondary school, and I have to give a shout. I still remember my teacher's name. Her name is Madam Rebecca.
Okay.
And she changed my life forever.
Wow.
It started when I was in secondary 1. So I was very naughty. I really don't care about my studies. I don't care about my future. I used to think that my life would never go past army. I won't even go to army.
You will die.
I never like, might never go past that.
Right.
So until that time, I don't do homework. I don't care about my studies. But my grades was shit. Then I was so naughty to the point my form teacher, put me into the student leader program. You know, student leader is supposed to be like top, you know, those
Prefect,
good,
all this
prefect, all that, right?
Example lah.
But she put me there. She put me there, right, just to show me that, just to put me in check, because everybody will look at you, ma.
Yeah.
But the teacher is not Madam Rebecca. Madam Rebecca is the teacher that oversee all the prefect.
Okay.
So as time goes by, I slowly get a little bit better because I keep getting scolded.
Yeah.
As a prefect, you need to do things.
Yeah.
I never do properly.
Right.
Keep getting scolded. She was the only, I would say she was the only teacher that believed in me at that point in time. Maybe at that point she don't she just say for fun.
Yeah.
But still, it impacted my life a lot. And she said this to me. You just believe in yourself. She just want me to believe in myself. You can do it. You don't care about what other people say. So slowly, right, I became like the head of the camp. I started taking a lot of big roles. And right, until then, I still a bit like, because of her, I start to believe in myself and I start doing bigger things.
Right.
I start doing bigger things, then I realized, I can do it. And then, right, when it comes to a point, right, they were choosing the president of prefect.
Oh.
They were choosing, I applied. I applied. Obviously, I didn't get it.
Okay.
The principal of that school didn't want me to be the president.
Okay.
Or vice president, I can't remember the details. But I heard Madam Rebecca actually voted me. Said I should do it because she believed in me. Actually, first I was very disappointed. I didn't get president. I was damn sad because nobody believed in me. My principal say like this guy cannot. But my teacher believed in me. Madam Rebecca say like he can do it. It's just that voter outlaw. And because of that, I didn't feel dejected. I didn't feel like I was useless because there's someone that actually believed in me. Ever since then, I started to work a bit harder. I start working hard. I do well in CCAs. My grades were not as bad as I expected. I got to do homework. I slowly start to get out of the bad book. After that, I go to poly. And right, when I start going to poly, I had this whole new perspective of life. Like I felt like I should believe in myself. I don't care what other people think of me. I don't care what my principal think of me. I just do what I feel like I can do. So with that motto in life, in poly, I start doing bigger things. I start being like group leaders. I start going out to be more confident.
Trajectory. Because I also hear that how come you will do like student camp all this like since when you so on one?
Yeah,
but
so,
now I start to see.
So I will say right, the person you see me now was because of her.
Wow.
I dare say that. That was the best advice I ever heard, and because it changed my life. So I think a lot of people out there, right, they don't believe in themselves. I'm not saying right, you think that you can do everything. No, you have to believe in your limits. Like for example, for me, why I become so loud and confident because I believe that I'm able to entertain people. I think that's my strength. My strength is nothing but my mouth. So that's why I'm very good at going up on stage. I'm very good at hosting events. I'm very good at also that. The music spoiled because of you. So I use that to my advantage. I believe in myself. I can do this. I can be better. I can do this. That's why I started. That's where I ended up myself now. In front of the camera, doing all this for you.
Wow, good story. I also strongly believe teachers can play a very big role to change your life.
Correct.
Because I had a teacher like that, and my story not as complicated. Very simple. Is because when I was young, my family is going through a divorce.
Right.
A lot of my consent form not signed, report book not signed. She come to visit me. She know of my situation, and then she was my form teacher. Then subsequently, she like every time after school, she will bring me go eat. She'll buy me food. She will talk to me, counsel me. Then all her subjects I get distinction, but all the subjects she never teach, I all fail. Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, she was really take care of me throughout my whole secondary school because I didn't really had a adult figure in my life, right? So she took care of me. Then the day I left school, she left. She also resigned to go build a school in India.
Whoa.
So she's a very, very good woman.
Whoa.
Okay, fast forward, every business I open, she will come and support and all that. Fast forward, just a couple of months ago, our office sometimes we'll host like those school, the students come, right? One of the students that came in, I was like, wow, this one really look like my dad teacher. So we talk all that, right? As she left, right, she DM me, I'm Mrs. Tang's daughter. Wow, come back one person. I was like, come back one person. Then I text my teacher. I say, hey, my house going to renovate, finish, come and visit.
Yeah, actually, right.
Teachers really play a
very big role. But actually, right, I realized I made a mistake.
What? Her name not correct.
Yeah, not correct.
You said
it's Rebecca. It's Mrs. Rebecca. That's why I agree with you. Our teachers are very important.
Very important.
But there was another teacher, right, that I think
fucked up your life.
No, she never fucked up. She was the one that give me a bit of
rage.
No, not rage. It's a good thing. It's a good
motivation.
Thing. Yeah, like motivation. So her name is Madam Nora, and she was my primary school form teacher. And this teacher, she give tough love. Primary school, right? She scold like fuck no, because I'm very naughty. So she scold like fuck. I used to like don't like her, cause she very like
very stern.
Once I graduated, right, she very nice to us. She like very proud of us. Like it makes me want to do more. You know, like it makes me feel like, wow, I can do it. I dare say like actually not a lot of individuals I can say like wow they have such an impact in my whole entire journey, in my whole life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think this not only applies for teachers, like anybody out there, right, it really goes a long way if you believe in someone or you believe in yourself.
So if Mrs. Rebecca, if you see this, right, sorry, just like I said Madam, it's called Madam Nora. I confused.
Madam Nora and Mrs. Rebecca.
I know your Rebecca spelled with a K one.
What?
KKA.
KKA. KAO.
Then later I wrong again.
Okay, don't talk already. 少说.
Okay, with that, we hope that you have a good takeaway from all these unsolicited and worst advice. I think a lot of them come from a good place. Take it with a pinch of salt, and I think every advice can be applied to every situation.
Correct.
Depending on how you apply, it can be good, it can be bad.
Correct.
Okay, so with that, remember to follow all our socials. Click here for more. Click on what and cut our bloopers. So can we put Mrs. Rebecca picture?
I don't have.
Yearbook.
Voila, privacy.
We just put the hottest
You already
teacher.
say her name out.
No, we just put the hottest teacher out there.
Okay, Mrs. Rebecca actually don't have this.
I actually even look
Then
very
you put like Angelina Jolie.
How about Madam Nora?
Jessica Alba.